My name is Tracie Giles and I'm an English Romany Gypsy, and I'm also a campaigner and activist for Gypsy and Travellers.
So what do you think of the Big Fat Gypsy Weddings programme?
I absolutely detest it, and I don't know anybody out of all my whole family and extended family or any friends from the travelling gypsy community that likes the programme.
Why?
Because everybody feels it's very unbalanced culturally. It doesn't show, the title My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding isn't even a fair title, and Channel 4 wouldn't be able to do that if that was about another ethnic minority group. If they were making a programme about the Asian community and they called it My Big Fat Indian Wedding, they wouldn't be able to show a load of, Pakistani weddings, because they would be mixing up two cultures. And the majority of the weddings that have been showed on that programme are from the Irish travelling community, so I think it's very unfair to say it's My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. And I think that it doesn't, although when you actually start to watch the programme through the narration, they start to touch on the different communities, like the different ethnic groups that are in, that are being portrayed through that programme, but it doesn't really justify the difference between the two groups of travellers that are being showed. I think the weddings, the holy communions, and the young girls, of how, particularly in the Irish travelling community, our young girls are brought up in a certain way. I'm not saying that the English Romany Gypsy community is much different in terms of morally, but there is a difference there, and it seems to focus on that particular subject so much, and these extravagant weddings. And if most of the settled population watching that programme thinks that gypsies and travellers probably have got an awful lot of money and can where these weddings are not, I'm not saying that that they're not that don't happen all the time, but they're showing it like it's like everybody can afford a wedding like that, when most people from the gypsy and travelling community can't afford a wedding like that. And to be honest with you, organising a wedding and trying to find a venue, and if you say that you're from the gypsy or travelling community, is very, very difficult because of the prejudice. So I think the programme, it's opened up prejudice again against gypsies and travellers more than, some of the bridges that have been built over the years. It's now kind of opened up those wounds again. Gypsies and travellers have always faced huge prejudice and discrimination on all different levels, whether it be education, employment, accessing service. This programme now has kind of done more damage, I feel, than it's done good to the gypsy and travelling community. In terms of advertising, I feel that the Channel 4 advertising for this programme, if this would have been about another ethnic minority group, they would never have been able to use similar images of young children in, being portrayed in an adult theme. They would never have been allowed to do that and to get away with it. And I think that it's very unfair and very wrong and very damaging what Channel 4 has done with their advertising. It's the whole thing, isn't it? The children, the images and the word bigger, fatter and gypsier. Right, I'm a Romany Gypsy and I'm very proud to be that, and that's my heritage and that's my culture, and I use the word gypsy all the time when I introduce myself or describe myself. But gypsier, to me as a gypsy, it's like, well, what are they saying? It's like, you're going to see a bigger insight into my culture. It's like they've been very clever, I think, in using their slur and their slogan. They've been very, very clever with it, but I think as a gypsy I feel very offended by it. It's not something that makes me feel, oh, this is fantastic, come over, they're saying, oh, we're going to have a look in, it's something that makes me feel good about my culture. It does the opposite.